you enjoying yourself?
What is he? I'm gonna boot something in a second. Do you have like a punch? I'm gonna go. Hang on. There's a punching bag outside. Be right back.
Okay. See you in a minute then. Bye.
Back in a second. Punching bag.
He's getting angry now, so he has to go and punch the.
Right, I'm back.
You're back. Do you feel better now?
My fists are decidedly red.
Okay.
Right.
Let's go. We get on with it now.
Yeah.
What are you playing, Josh?
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong.
First try. Let's go. Hello.
Hello, welcome back to the Retro Shed. Now we have
I'm
not.
Josh. He's Barry.
Thanks. We've not been in here for a couple of weeks now. We've been away on holidays. You could probably tell from the colour of us.
Skin colour.
Yeah. I hope you guys had a great Easter. Now we are glad to be back in here and getting down to looking at some classic games from our beloved past.
Your beloved past.
Good point. So, before we get stuck in today's game, I just want to mention that earlier on the week we went to see...
People come to the Oasis for all the things they can do. But they stay because of all the things they can be.
Can you feel this?
Yeah. It's the only place that feels like I mean anything.
What's it called?
Ready Player One.
That's it, I forgot. Ready Player One. And we just wanted to spend a few moments talking about that.
Yeah, so if you've not seen the movie yet, you may want to skip this part as there will be spoilers.
Yes, that's a very good point, actually. Now, I've seen many book movie adaptations over the years, and let's face it, not many movies of this sort follow the book accurately for a number of reasons. Now, mainly because if you were to make a film that
exactly
like the book, your movie would end up being 8 hours long, or in the case of Star Wars, probably 9 movies long. So I accept that screenplays rarely follow books accurately, but merely take some set pieces, don't they, from the book and runs with it.
Yes, now the book Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, as many of you know, is basically a story about how in the future many people live out their lives in a virtual environment called the Oasis.
Nothing to do with the band Oasis.
Not going into details, but the book pays massive homage to the 80s popular culture and video games. It's a fabulous book for both adults who actually lived through the 80s,
yes, like
and
me,
kids who never did but still love 80s culture,
yeah,
like
and,
me.
Well, exactly, yeah. Now, so for me, the movie was a great entertaining CGI fest. It was good on the whole. It follows the book loosely.
Very.
I'd say loosely, yeah, very loosely. And all in all, I thought it was good. It's not a Spielberg classic by any means.
No.
It's okay, especially for the non-geeks, actually. Let's face it, they needed this book, this film, to appeal
to families,
to a wider audience, which means a lot of the geeky retro stuff, which I personally love, was actually missing. So there was no Joust.
no Black Tiger.
There was no Black Tiger, there was no Tempest, and I did find that disappointing because
No
I do
war
like
games.
I love Tempest, so no war games, good point. And I did like the inclusion of the bit about The Shining.
But that had nothing to do with it.
No, but it is one of my favourite movies, but it had nothing to do with the book. And that's okay, but for a gamer, I felt it lacked something.
So did I.
It lacks something that the book has in spade force. Now, for me, I'm not going to hark on about it. For me, it's a 7 out of 10. Go read the book. It's better, especially if you love the 80s and are a retro gamer. Josh, you didn't like it as much as I did you?
Well, now, there are a lot of things that they change, and I don't really like change. So it really confused me, because some of the events in the book weren't in the movie. So throughout the movie, watching it, I was like, where's this? Where's that event? Why has that happened?
Yeah,
That's
you
not
kept
meant
poking me, didn't you, and going, Dad, that's not right.
I think at the start it was rushed and all the events happened too quickly. I did like the Shining part, but it had absolutely no relevance to the book at all, or the story. There were no gates and no challenges at the gates, which really frustrated me, as there were some great games featured at the gates.
There were, yeah.
They had to cut them out though because the film would be way too long. Spoilers here, but in the movie, Artemis sacrifices herself to go into IOI headquarters, but in the book it was actually Parzival. I could go on. Oh, do you know what? I'd give it a 5 out of 10. Worth watching as a family movie. Not as good as I expected, but I could rant on for hours.
5 out of 10.
Yeah.
5 out of 10. So, there you go.
Mom gave it 6.
Yeah, she enjoyed it, and I think it does work for non-retro geeky types.
Yeah, otherwise she wouldn't have liked it.
Yeah, and that's what movies are around. They have to appeal to a wider audience. So, enough about Ready Player One. Go and have a look at it, see what you think. It's okay. It's not bad. It's not a classic by any means. Right, now, so shall we discuss what we were going to originally discuss today, which is your choice, isn't it, today, Josh?
Yes, it is actually. So, Dad, let's start off with, can you name me 3 classic platformer games?
You're asking me to name 3 classic platformer games.
Yes, I am. Go.
You sure? Manic Miner, Chucky Egg, Super Mario Brothers.
Well done. Now, correct, but wrong.
What do you mean wrong? How are you wrong?
It was an incomplete answer.
It wasn't an
Because
incomplete
you
answer.
didn't mention the one game that probably kickstarted the entire platform game craze from 1981.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
Yeah.
the one that introduced the world to Nintendo's mascot.
Yes, I know.
And introduced the world to the world's most stubborn ape.
Yes, you're talking about Donkey
And
Kong,
the one that
aren't
you want to snipe.
Donkey Kong. My answer wasn't wrong. I just failed to include what was probably the world's...
Yeah, wrong.
Arguably the world's first platform
you're,
game.
you're in a maths test. You have one question. It's a 2-part answer. You give one answer, but you don't give the other one, so you get the question wrong. You get it marked wrong because you didn't include the proper answer.
Okay, I'm not arguing
So
with you
you got
about
it
this. So,
wrong.
what made you want to look at Donkey Kong? I was never a huge fan of this game back in the day. I was more into space shoot-em-ups, but it's a good subject. But what made you want to look at Donkey Kong?
Oh, I don't know. I like playing it on the arcade machine. It's
Yeah.
featured in books I've read, TV shows, movies. It's also one of the first games Shigeru Miyamoto ever worked on.
Good point.
And most important of all, it's the only game that I think that features barrels being chucked at you by an ape.
I don't think there's any other game
Even
outside
Top Gear wouldn't come up with something so stupid.
No, I don't think I can think of any game where a monkey throws barrels at you apart from Donkey Kong,
I know.
actually. So you've got a good point there. So back in 1981, the arcade scene was really starting to kick off at this point in time. Computer and Video Games magazine started in 1981. Konami released Scramble and Frogger. Williams released Defender, amongst other games. Nintendo were producing Game & Watch toys. Do you remember those? Absolutely brilliant. They fetch a bit of money today. So this really was the dawn of the golden age of arcades.
For you, yes.
Yes, for me.
Donkey Kong was released in 1981, if you hadn't already figured that out, and features a giant stubborn ape called Kong. And this is probably why it's called Donkey Kong, because the game doesn't actually have features of donkeys of any description.
No, it doesn't.
But we all know that donkeys can be stubborn. Suppose that's a better name than anything else for it.
Yeah, there's no donkeys in it at all. So Wikipedia states...
It's so funny if you lobbed a donkey down the...
That's cruel.
and like the main obstacle.
Gone off on one there. So, Wikipedia tells us that in a platformer game, the player controls a character, or an avatar, to jump between suspended platforms and avoid obstacles. Obstacles. Now, that pretty much describes what we have here in Donkey Kong. The game pretty much defined platformers from this moment on and went on to become imitated so many times over, especially in the early 8-bit home computer market. Yes, Josh, do you have a question?
There are ladders in it, and that just shows that it's a platform game.
Because it's got ladders. Ladders equal platform games.
Yes. The original game was created by Shigeru Miyamoto and features a chap called Jumpman.
Jumpman.
Great name!
That's a great name.
They're all
that is,
sat
isn't
around
it?
a table, so we need a name for his character. Jumpman.
Jumpman.
Great name!
Well, what is he? He's a man and he jumps.
Jumpman.
Jumpman.
Who later on went to become the much-loved Nintendo mascot Mario, which is a better name.
Mario.
And a giant ape called Donkey Kong, and a damsel in distress called Pauline.
Pauline.
Now, Kong has decided he fancies the look of Pauline and decides to make off with her to some construction site, and it's up to Jumpman, or Mario, to rescue her.
Yes, inspiration for Donkey Kong actually came from Popeye, Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast. And of course, the movie King Kong itself. The game features one of the earliest uses of cutscenes between each level, along the likes of Pac-Man and Mr. Do. They do that. Miyamoto developed the game with Gunpei Yokoi, who we have spoken about before, as he was the creator of the Game Boy and later on the creator of the Virtual Boy.
Interestingly, Universal Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Gunpei Yokoi created the Virtual Boy.
I forgot that's what it's
Do you remember
called.
the Virtual Boy, the console that made you feel sick?
Yeah, I thought it was called something else.
No, Virtual Boy.
I don't recognise that.
Hmm.
Interestingly, Universal Studios tried to bring a lawsuit against Nintendo because of the use of the name Donkey Kong.
It's not surprising.
As they said, it violated their trademark of King Kong. But this ultimately failed, and a good job too.
Yeah.
What is it with everyone trying to sue each other in the US?
I think it's just a culture of suing each other, isn't it? And it's getting as bad in the UK, to be fair. It started, the culture of suing everybody over the slightest thing started in the US, but it's just getting just as bad here. If there's money in it, somebody will try and sue you for it, believe you me. So, in case you've never seen Donkey Kong, you literally play the protagonist, Mario, or Jumpman, and have to work your way up the levels, jumping over barrels, as we've said before, fireballs,
That
gaps,
have eyes.
fireballs with eyes, gaps, and other obstacles to reach the top of each level. Now, the game features 4 unique levels that are damn
easy.
hard, really hard, actually. It's really hard, and it's quite difficult compared to other arcade games of the time.
Yes, it is. Apart from Defender
That's hard.
and Mr. Dick
That's hard.
and Ghosts and Goblins
That's ridiculously hard.
and Ghosts and Ghouls.
That's hard as well.
And, well, let's face it, every arcade game of the 80s. Retro games are just tougher than modern games, let's be honest.
It's nice to
Well,
hear
I
you
don't
admit
know.
that.
I don't know. Call of Duty yesterday.
That's not hard.
It is!
How many times in 10 minutes did you die playing Call of Duty yesterday?
5.
5. How many times did you die in 10 minutes on Donkey Kong? A lot more.
55.
Exactly. I rest my case. Let's move on. Donkey Kong is the antagonist who keeps running off with Pauline, who in all honesty sounds like a character from EastEnders. Now, do you know what an antagonist is, Josh?
Of course I do.
What are you doing?
Proving that I know what an antagonist is. Am I not antagonising you?
You are antagonising me. Stop. I think we'll have to cut that out, to be honest. So you can pick up a power-up in the form of a hammer that can be used to smash barrels, but to be honest, we tend to leave the
You
power-up
can't
alone.
jump, you can't go up ladders.
No.
Honestly. And it just disappears without warning.
Yes, there is that. We were playing it yesterday, and I had the hammer,
it
didn't
does
I?
flash for a while to show that it's going to go.
Yeah, but it just disappeared when I was about to smash a fireball, and they ended up realising that I had nothing to smash the fireball
Fireballs
with.
are snaky. Did
They
you know
are.
you can't jump over fireballs because when you do, like they're going this way. You jump, and when you're over them, they'll change direction.
change
and you'll
direction.
land on them. They're so snaky.
Which is something barrels can't do unless they're remote control barrels.
And it barrels will go like. Each level represents 25 metres of the tower or construction site that Kong is climbing. It'd be so funny if he slips on one of the ladders.
Don't be so cruel.
The final stage is about 100 metres, and there are 4 stages. Once you cause Donkey Kong to fall, which is the best feeling in the world,
It is, isn't it?
you're reunited with Pauline, and the entire debacle starts again. But this time, it's now level 2.
It's gone up a level, yeah.
Barrels get hurled quicker, sometimes diagonally.
Yeah,
which
unfair.
Which is
It's
mad.
unfair.
And fireballs also get quicker and snakier. All in all, it's very frustrating, and we are not very good at this, are we?
We're not very good at it, no. Jumpman himself is depicted in red overalls, and due to the graphical limitations and low pixel resolution of the board, he doesn't have a mouth. So what they did, they drew a moustache on the character instead, and they gave him a cap because they couldn't draw hair either. So, Pauline, however, has a pink dress and long hair and just shouts help,
Help!
a lot.
Help!
Yeah.
Help!
Budget for the development of the game was set at $100,000.
Wow. Now, Nintendo was actually trying to get a license for a Popeye game at the time, and although the Popeye game did come later, Nintendo decided to create some characters for Donkey Kong that could be used in later games.
Oh, yeah.
Little did we know that the character of Mario and Donkey Kong and Peach, which is now called Peach, obviously,
Yeah.
would still be in use over 30 years later.
Yeah, so it's fair to say that they did create some long-lasting characters there, didn't they, really? So the game was actually developed mainly for the North American market and utilised existing hardware from a game called Radar Scope that wasn't much of a success.
Flop.
It wasn't much of a success during testing, so they didn't know what to do with Radar Scope. So what they originally did, they got the machine for Radar Scope and they re-engineered it to become Donkey Kong. The game was absolutely disliked by Nintendo of America when it was sent for testing because it was too different from the popular games at the time, which were shooting games and maze games. Plus, it had a really stupid title that the North American people at Nintendo didn't like. They didn't understand the concept of Donkey
And Kong. However, the machine was set up in 2 bars in Seattle, where sales were over $30 and a day, or 120 plays a day, was soon reached, and the managers of the bars requested more machines.
You would, wouldn't you?
Over 2,000 radar scope machines were gutted and turned into Donkey Kong machines, and the game went on official sales in July 1981.
That's a long time ago, actually. So by October of 1981, it was selling over 4,000. Nintendo was selling over 4,000 machines a month. And by June of 1982, over 60,000 Donkey Kong machines had been sold, making Nintendo over $280 million. Now, it was Nintendo's top-selling game well into the summer of the following year. Atari, Taito and Coleco approached Nintendo for licensing rights, but it was eventually granted to Coleco, who absolutely did a fabulous job converting it to their ColecoVision console, which I would love to have a play on, actually. I've never played on a ColecoVision. 6 months later, the license was offered to Atari and Intellivision. Coleco went on to sell over 6 million copies of Donkey Kong, and it made them well over $500 million. That's a lot of money from one game, isn't it, really?
There were also tabletop electronic game versions of Donkey Kong, which sold alongside Pac-Man, Galaxian, Frogger. Nintendo also released a Game & Watch dual-screen LCD version of Donkey Kong, and the game was also ported to the Apple II, Commodore VIC-20, ZX Spectrum, Amstrad,
nice t-shirt,
MSX, and the Atari 8-bit family. And do you know what? In fact, everything.
It's fair to say that everything's got a copy of Donkey Kong.
Even that fire extinguisher probably has some reference to Donkey Kong up there.
You're just being silly now. Between 1981 and 2015, the game went on to spawn over 29 sequels.
It's not as bad as Star Wars.
And remakes featuring characters from the original Donkey Kong. So we've got Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong 2, Donkey Kong 3, Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Land, Diddy Kong Racing, Donkey Kong 64.
Stop it. That's enough.
Yeah, you get the idea, though.
In 2015, Kong also became the main antagonist in the movie Pixels. He is the leader of the aliens, and, while the less said about that movie, the better.
I don't like Pixels.
Donkey Kong. One game you suck at. Yeah.
It's alright.
No.
The game, no doubt, went on to spawn many different platformers at the time, such as Miner 2049er,
Yes.
Manic Miner,
Ooh.
Chucky Egg,
Nice game.
which is not a bad thing,
Yeah.
because those games themselves are very much loved by the retro community
They
today.
absolutely are. Chucky Egg is so many people's favourite game. It's just brilliant. So in...
played it.
You have?
I don't think I have.
Sure you have. We're going to have to correct that. So, in true Retro Shed fashion, let's take a look and make a complete pig's ear of playing Stubborn Ape.
Oh, God.
Don't mess it up, don't mess it up, don't
There's
mess
a-
it up. Yeet!
There's a prime example of Josh not doing what he's told. Just take it easy, don't mess it up. Oh. Oh, dear. Do you know the best thing about it?
What?
You make me laugh.
About losing a life, let's go!
You made that look too easy.
About losing a life.
You made that look too easy. Right, Josh.
Right, yes.
Don't mess it up.
Okay.
I'm not saying anything, I'm just watching you play, okay?
Okay. I just had temporary voice failure.
You're doing alright. Don't mess up.
Try not to. Oh, bloody hell. Oh,
Mess up.
they're both... There's nothing I can do! They were both...
You wait, you bide your time.
No, seriously, I only lost one life.
50 metres. Right. Remove those rivets, kid. Now, do you find it easier to work your way from the top down?
Up.
I do. I work from the
Bottom
top.
up. Bottom up.
I work from the top down because what I find is the fireballs kind of like
As you can see, they're all spawned at the bottom.
Yeah. I don't know. I work from the top down. I'm sure somebody who's a real expert at this will tell us what the best strategy is, but well done. What?
I had one left, and I landed on it as well. I landed on the last one.
So, is this your third attempt?
Oh, this.
At this level?
At this level, yeah.
Yeah, okay. You are the angriest gamer I've ever met.
Come here. Oh, this is so risky. This is so risky.
Go. Oh, go quick. After you've gone over a rivet, you can't walk backwards. You can jump though. You can jump over a rivet hole once you've punched the rivet.
Like
hole.
that?
Yes. Don't walk back over it.
Oh god, the dog is coming into the shed.
What's wrong with the dog now?
Is he barking at a pigeon?
He's barking at something. I think he's barking at Mum getting the washing in.
You never know a croc, do you?
No, you don't. Come on, you can do it.
No
Don't fall.
No silly mistakes.
Don't fall. Just climb up there now.
No, you.
Come on.
Okay, let him. Okay, so let's just watch what they
You
do.
can do. Yeah, take your time.
I'm safe here.
You're safe there.
They can't get me unless they do that, which is really
Yeah.
snaky.
Just don't mess it up. Bide your time. Wait your time. Wait your time. They can climb up there.
I know they can.
Come on, don't mess this up. So he messes it up. Oh my god!
Oh, now I'm stuck here.
Oh, you're stuck, yeah.
I'm gonna
That's
have
the
to.
most
There you go. Look at that.
the most annoying thing about using the
There you go.
hammer.
Can't go up ladders or
You
jump.
can't go up ladders. That's right.
It'd be too unfair then. Do you know what I mean? It'd be too overpowered.
Do you think? Jump.
Let's go.
Nicely done.
About time, Jesus.
It's only your fourth. That's only your fourth attempt.
It's only my 55th attempt. Right, back. This is a harder version.
Now things get really tough now, don't they?
Why that one's going to go down there and it's going to go down
I think the
there.
barrels go faster. He can throw diagonal barrels as well. Do the barrels come at a faster pace?
No, same speed.
Nicely done.
You!
Ooh.
That's so snaky!
He is snaky. He's a snaky Kong.
Hang on! Ooh! Don't go the ladder. Go. Oh, it'd be so funny if you failed then. Hey!
This is about as far as we can get. Is it not? Yeah.
Yeah, don't.
I have got no idea. There you go. That's how quick look at that level. Right.
Oh!
That was Donkey Kong, and I need to go
Right,
down the pub.
Back to Call of Duty.
You go back to Call of Duty. I'm going to the pub.
You know what I'm going to ask you? Wait for it. So, what did you think of Donkey Kong?
Wow. Wow.
What did you think of it? I know you love it. don't you?
I tried to memorise the patterns.
You didn't get angry at all, did you?
No, actually. I think I went into the house and my knuckles were red. Mum was like, what
I think it's fair to say you got a bit angry, and do you know what?
The Xbox is lucky to have survived.
Do you know
that.
you're one of the angriest retro gamers I know.
One of the angriest gamers ever.
You're one of the angriest gamers I know.
I'm the one kid when playing on PS4 who gets angry at the game we're all playing. I'm the one kid that goes, for God's sake, let's play something else. So, I'm the one kid who does that.
So,
yes.
Can you answer the question, please?
I tried to memorise the patterns of the barrels, and then I'd climb up a ladder, and it'd be like, this one isn't going to come down. I'd be like,
Because they're random, aren't they? They're random.
I tried to memorise the
Yeah.
patterns, but
You can't. I don't think you can.
work.
I think I think they are truly random. Those barrels. So you can
Drives me
be
mad.
halfway up a ladder,
and a barrel will either do one of two things. It'll either roll over or
go
come down the ladders.
And he looks like he's only got 4 barrels, but he's actually got like 100,000.
He's got unlimited barrels.
Where does he get all the barrels from?
I like it. I think it's a cracking game.
It's
It
good.
was unique for the time. I really, really like Donkey Kong. I find it frustrating. I don't get as angry as you.
Yes,
but
you do.
Do you know what? Check out Donkey Kong. It's a brilliant game, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is.
It is
Now-
absolutely fabulous. Now, interestingly, Donkey Kong made the news this week. Have you seen this article?
Can't say that I have.
You've got this guy called Billy Mitchell, and he's kind of like this. He's like kind of this chap that sets world records for video games. Right. So in the news this week, world champion Donkey Kong player Billy Mitchell has apparently been stripped of his record score because he didn't use an original Donkey Kong machine to play it on. He used an emulator. There's more to the story than this, right? But the crux of the matter is the company that governs this stuff has said that's an invalid record because you didn't use the
Why did they let him
original.
have the record in the first place then?
Wow.
Now, Billy has also been banned from taking part in any further competitive leaderboard scores by the company that governs such stuff.
Yeah.
Called Twin Galaxies.
Yeah.
And they have also written a letter to Guinness World Records advising them that they are very, 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 very
They're
angry
very
about
angry
it.
about it. So there you go. So apparently stop playing emulators. Go find yourself an original machine to play on if you really care about such things. Or you know what? Just chill out and enjoy
Do you think
retro
they'd let
games.
us play on that arcade machine? Do
No,
you reckon
because it's not an original arcade machine.
it has
is
to
it?
be a literally original?
It's got to be an original hardware. Got to be an original hardware to set a record. I can see why. Because the game sometimes plays differently on emulation. You can probably cheat.
Yes, like the one on Xbox where you walk and it makes that stupid noise.
Yeah, so there's little differences, and I think if you're going to set a high score, you've got to use
An original machine.
the original
Right.
machine. So,
Now, did you know that our first video was created on the 24th of April 2017?
I did.
Which means we've been doing this for a year now and people are still watching us.
they're not.
Yeah,
Really?
really. People
still
still watch us.
Has it really been a year? So, yes, next episode will be our birthday episode.
Yes.
I was going to ask for people to write us questions, but nobody's asked us
But
any
one
questions.
person
so-
sent us a question.
Oh yeah, one person sent us a question, so
Which I
let's answer
forgot
that
what it was
question.
already.
The question was, what is the most frustrating retro game we've ever played? What's yours?
I can't even say it because it makes me angry.
I know what it is. Because I
You
think
say-
my
you
answer...
say it for me then.
The most frustrating retro game that I've played personally is probably Ghosts and Goblins. What's yours? Ghosts and Goblins. Joshua's most frustrating retro game is Ghosts and Goblins. So don't forget to join us next time where we'll be discussing something to do with our birthday.
We are not discussing Ghosts and Goblins.
No, let's drop that. Now, meanwhile, thanks for watching us. Now, if you like what we do and you would like to support us, please feel free. We are on Patreon, and thank you to the people that have pledged just a few dollars. That really means the world to us. Thank you very,
Means a
very
lot.
much. Say hello to us on
Chair spinning.
Twitter. Say hello to us on Facebook, and thank you for watching.
Face ache.
Hope you like our look at Donkey Kong, and we will
Kong
see you
Donkey.
guys soon. Take care. Have a cracking
Bye.
weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye. See, I don't say it like some weird 4-year-old anymore.
How did you used to say goodbye?
Oh, Stumpy Cat, whatever his name is.
How did you used to do it?
Bye! Yeah, like that.
Bye! I'm so glad you don't do it like that anymore.